Coming up on Juice and Java, we'll cover the Louis C.K. sexual misconduct allegations, the first transgender lawmaker elected, and Waymo's new self-driving cars.
And Claire Greenbaum will join us in studio to talk about the charity she brought to Syracuse.
All of that and more starts right now. Good morning, I'm Mia Rossi.
And I'm Rebecca Thornburg. Thanks for starting your morning with us, and happy Veterans Day.
Let's kick things off with a squeeze. After 7 years, Syracuse has a new mayor. Independent candidate Ben Walsh won with a surprisingly large margin on Tuesday, following in the footsteps of his grandfather, who was mayor of the city in the 60s. Exit polls before election night showed Democrat Juanita Perez-Williams in a razor-tight race with Walsh, but as votes were counted, Walsh pulled ahead fairly quickly. He is the head of economic development for current Syracuse Mayor Stephanie Miner. His platform included many projects he has worked on in this capacity. Walsh is only the second independent ever to be elected as mayor of the city.
I think this is so great. We'll have a new mayor in charge, and I really hope he just focuses on the key issues that Syracuse faces: poverty, education.
Yeah, and I think that now in a time where we see the parties as very divisive, it's good to have someone in office who doesn't affiliate with a political party. It could bring nice change, and he's worked under Miner, so he knows what works and what doesn't work.
And it was such a tight race. I know Juanita was a big favorite. I saw all of her signs everywhere, but you know what? Ben Walsh came up on top, and I'm excited to see what he does.
And it stayed, as we said, that close into the race.
Yep. In other election news, it wasn't a presidential election, but Tuesday did bring victories for hundreds of candidates across the country. One of those candidates is Danica Rome, the first openly transgender person ever elected to state legislature. Rome campaigned for a seat in the Virginia government against 13-year incumbent Robert Marshall. Marshall referred to himself as Virginia's chief homophobe and tried to pass a model of the infamous bathroom bill. Earlier this year, Rome celebrated her win by addressing her new constituents, saying that it was discrimination that led to Marshall's loss. Rome is not the only woman to make history, though. Andrea Jenkins is the first transgender person of color to be elected to public office, and Jenny Durkin is the first gay woman to be elected as mayor of Seattle. I think this is so important that the voters did vote against hate and discrimination against the incumbent.
And again, really important now more than ever in the current political climate. And I know a lot of people were really happy. I saw on social media a lot of posts in support of Virginia and what was happening.
It's just great to see that the state did turn blue as well, and many are saying that it was an anti-Trump move, but we'll see what happens. I just hope they're very successful in their positions.
And in other headlines this week, comedian Louis C.K. admits to the sexual misconduct with several women in a statement he released yesterday. His statement follows a New York Times report that cited 5 women accusing the celebrity of sexual harassment. C.K. admitted on Friday that the stories are true. He added that he did not previously understand why his behavior was so inappropriate, and he was unaware of the pressure he had over women. He continued to say he is remorseful and is trying to learn from his inappropriate behavior. Companies HBO and Netflix responded to the allegations by cutting plans to have CK appear on their specials.
I feel like every week we are talking about someone new in the news about sexual assault.
It's really every day now.
It's horrible, and I think it's so important that women are stepping up and talking out about it. It's not the norm anymore, and they need to voice who's assaulted them.
Bad as this is, and people who had to experience it, hopefully this can encourage women to now speak up sooner and not feel as afraid because they see the support and all of the attention that and what companies are doing, like HBO and Netflix. They're not working with him and other actors anymore.
Exactly. And after nearly 14 years after the hit show Friends, Jennifer Aniston is finally returning to the TV scene. and she is reuniting with her former on-screen sister Reese Witherspoon. Apple secured the rights to the project, beating out tough competitors such as Netflix. The tech company announced their rights to the show earlier this week, and they have already agreed to 2 seasons with 10 episodes each. This show, which remains unnamed for now, will revolve around a morning TV show. Both Aniston and Witherspoon are executive producers for the program, along with the former head of drama HBO. So I think they should come in here.
Interview us.
Yeah, and like shadow us, because we would be great for them. But I think this is so cool that Apple's kind of dipping their toes into another field. They're so successful with their phones, but we'll see what happens with
And
this.
also we see, drama playing out on morning television shows, real life drama all the time. So, and this is kind of the first, there's been movies, but I think it will be interesting to see how they make it into a TV show, and also if any of those real life dramas will play out or play a role in the drama that they have.
And Apple has no experience of this. I'm really excited to see what they do with this, because they have so much money to really play into this. It'll be interesting.
Well, in other Apple-related tech news, a new study looking into the safety of self-driving cars suggests the vehicles will be ready to roll sooner rather than later. At the same time, self-driving cars are hitting the roads in Phoenix for the first tests without backup drivers. The tests are being carried out by Waymo, a subsidiary of Google's parent company Alphabet. These trial drives are currently being carried out on public streets in the Phoenix suburb of Chandler. However, Waymo is planning to expand the test area to a larger region, similar to a major city like London or Los Angeles.
This kind of scares me.
Me too.
Self-driving cars, the technology has to be absolutely perfect, I think.
Because if something goes bad, it goes really bad. There's really no room for error.
Right, and who do you blame if there is a car accident and if people die? That's just horrible. So I'm very hesitant for this, and I would not try it at all.
But we were talking about before how this could possibly be a good thing for companies, but then on the other hand, if, deliveries are using self-driving cars, then people are losing their jobs.
Could be scary, but hopefully they just nail the technology and it'll become normal for society.
But with services like Uber and Lyft now, why do we need self-driving cars? We don't.
Yeah, and it's the fun of driving too. I love to drive, so we'll see what happens. A handful of Amazon-branded pop-up shops will be rolling out in select Whole Foods stores this holiday season. With the pop-up stores, shoppers will be able to try Amazon devices before they buy them. They will also be able to learn about Amazon services and Prime memberships. The grocery chain is starting to equip the Whole Foods stores with Amazon lockers where customers can pick up online orders. Whole Foods is also gearing up for the holiday season with Black Friday deals on Amazon products. But you might have to travel a little ways to try one. The pop-up shops will only be available in California, Colorado, Michigan, and Florida. I think this is so cool and a different marketing strategy for them. It's the busiest holiday season, and I'm excited to see what happens.
I mean, we won't be able to experience them here in New York or where I'm from in New Jersey or where you're from in Massachusetts, where we'll be spending our holidays. But I do think this is interesting. I think we're going to be hearing a lot about it. This is sort of the first major thing we've been hearing about since the Amazon Whole Foods buy in over the summer.
And they're really trying to connect their brands together. So I think customers will like that. It's a one-stop shop. You can get Amazon, you can get Whole Foods.
I know you could do all your holiday
you don't have to go anywhere else.
In one.
It's crazy.
Well, after the break, Claire Greenbaum is in studio.
And we'll tell you about the cancer awareness charity she brought to Syracuse.
Stay with us.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. that I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly, just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back to Juice and Java.
In studio, we have Claire Greenbaum, a student at Syracuse University who started a cancer nonprofit organization, has hosted a variety of events recently in the Syracuse area. So Claire, can you tell us how you started this organization?
For sure. So when I was 10 years old, unfortunately, my mother was diagnosed with stage 3 ovarian cancer. And over 4 years, we had a journey together, and there were some highs, there were some lows, but unfortunately she lost her battle when I was 14 in 2010. So after she passed away, my family and I sat down together, and we decided that we wanted to make a difference and do something to give back to the cancer community. So we decided that we wanted to throw an event or a party because my mom loved to have a good time and she loved to be with her friends. So we said, let's do something fun as opposed to something that's kind of has a sad nature to it. And my sister had the wonderful idea of having shirts be involved, and every shirt that is worn by people attending the event will have F Cancer written on it. And these t-shirts come in different colors representing different cancers, and this was a nice idea because people can feel ownership towards which cancer has affected them most or what they want to support.
And so you had events at Syracuse.
Correct.
So how did those events start? And there was one last weekend, right?
Correct, yeah. So we've thrown events. The first event we threw in Montreal was in 2010, and it was kind of just people from my community and our friends and family, and there was 300 people that came out. And it was really successful. So the next year we said, okay, like this was great, let's do it again. And that year 900 people came. And ever since then we've thrown events all over Canada and the US. And we're actually looking to throw parties in Europe now, which is exciting. But this has always been a part of my life prior to university. And I knew it's something I wanted to continue once I got to Syracuse. I didn't want to do it freshman year because I wanted to really get a feel of the campus and settle in. But sophomore year, once I had more friends and classes and a community, I thought it'd be a great idea to start it. So since sophomore year, we've had events every year. So sophomore, junior, and senior year. This year, we had the event last weekend, so it was really successful.
And how much money have you raised?
So we throw events at DJs, and the capacity is around 500. So we sell tickets at $20. So we raise about 10 grand, a little bit more because people donate. So, yeah.
So you're a senior.
Yeah.
So will you be leaving this to anyone at Syracuse to continue next year events when you're not here?
Yeah, I'm so excited because many people have reached out to me this year saying, okay, wait, you're graduating this year. I love this event. I'd love to carry it on once you go. So that's always exciting when people reach out to me about that. But also I had 2 younger girls, one sophomore, one junior, who shadowed me this year. So they know the rundown of how things go and they could carry it out next year.
And how can other students on campus get involved in this organization?
Well, a lot of people have reached out to me. They're like, we want to get shirts, and I don't have a running inventory here. So we have a store online so people can get merchandise online. And people have reached out to me saying they want to get involved next year, like I said. So just reach out to me if you're interested. Yeah.
Well,
Awesome.
Thanks so much, Claire, and for being here.
Yeah, my pleasure.
We look forward to seeing what more events
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Up next, our own Connor Federico will be in studio to tell us all about the Veterans Portrait
project.
We'll be right back.
Thank you so much. That was great. You get so
That's
much
me
help.
buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
This weekend, we honor those who have served our country and our nation's military.
Our own Connor Federico is here to tell us how one Air Force veteran is creating memories that will last forever.
Thanks, Mia and Rebecca. This week, the Veterans Portrait Project came to Syracuse to make a small impact on veterans' lives. With nothing more than a camera and a smile, one SU alum is truly thanking veterans for their service. These faces are just a small representation of the 22 million veterans in the United States, and some have portraits like these as a simple thank you.
It's just a wonderful way to acknowledge an individual's service and sacrifice to their country.
Stacy Pearsall is an Air Force veteran herself and a graduate of the Military Photojournalism program through the Newhouse School at SU. For the good part of the last decade, Pearsall has used her passion for photography and experience in the military giving back.
For me, I don't have a lot to give, but as a photographer, at least I can take a portrait and give that as a nice way of saying thank you.
Pearsall founded the Veterans Portrait Project as she transitioned out of military service in 2008.
She started because when she was at the VA, she would be sitting for a few hours waiting for her appointment. And she wanted to do something productive, and she saw a lot of veterans that were also waiting, and she just decided to start photographing veterans.
Even though there will always be a veteran on the other side of her lens, Pearsall encourages her subjects to bring things with them. The objects, or animals, are often related to their service and tell a part in each story.
I feel like these portraits, they're kind of like a little time capsule. So whether, they're World War II veterans or, today's veterans, they're all the same. They have their own power.
But it's not all about the portraits. Pearsall asks veterans questions about their past service, their experiences, and what they're doing now. Most conversations go on for 10 minutes, and some end with hugs.
It's just a platform to let loose and be themselves without any fear of reprisal or judgment, and that's what's so amazing. And we just get down to the very heart of an individual, and I hope to capture that.
During her 2 days back in Syracuse, Stacy photographed about 40 people. That adds to her total of more than 6,000 veterans who now have an empowering portrait to share with friends and family. Reporting for Juice and Java, I'm Connor Federico.
Thanks, Connor. Coming up, Jake Marsh will be here to give us a preview of the SU basketball season.
Keep it right here.
Anywhere, but the best place to start.
Was that the one?
I spied something beginning with
She's getting Charlie.
No.
Snow-covered trees?
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones. Don't
even.
And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
Every time I hear the alarm bell go off in school, I think it's an air raid.
A lot of houses in our neighborhood have been destroyed. I like to close my ears and sing songs whenever the bombs come close.
I'm worried our new neighbors won't like us.
But I know it's all gonna be worth it. I just want my family to be safe. But these are not my words.
These are not my words.
These are not my words.
Welcome back to Juice and Java.
With the first SU basketball game last night, we have Jake Marsh here to tell us what's in store for SU this season. Jake, I'm so excited for this season. What's the general vibe around the team? I know last season wasn't too great, so what's the general vibe this year?
To be honest, there's a lot of uncertainty. The team missed out on the NCAA tournament last year, and you have a lot of new faces, so in that case, a brand new slate for Jim Boeheim's team.
Great.
And how was last night's game? What were those highlights?
It was great, 77-45 over Cornell. The big storyline, Jim Boeheim against Jimmy Boeheim, his son, on Cornell. And get this, he scored the first basket of the game, a three-pointer from the corner with his dad right in front of him. You can't make it up.
And Jim Boeheim didn't even move a muscle. I was shocked. I was expecting a little clap, a little knee tap.
I sensed something on the inside. He wouldn't show it emotionally. There's got to be something.
I thought it was so cute.
Yeah.
So obviously last night was a big win, but what are some other key games that we should be looking forward to?
So the non-conference slate is really stacked. In a couple weeks, they go down to Miami to play Kansas, and 2 weeks after that, they play against Georgetown. And after that, you have the ACC play. Tons of teams there between Duke, North Carolina, Louisville. A lot of good games to look forward to.
What are some of the players that stepped up last night that you're excited for?
Tyus Battle. He had 18 points, and he's going to be the leader of this team. He's only a sophomore, so not really a leader role, but he has to do it after the departures of Tyler Lydon, John Gillen, and Andrew White. There's a lot to look forward to, but Tyus Battle and Franklin Howard, both guards, they're going to have a big role if Syracuse wants to have a successful season.
Any other new faces that people should be looking out for this season?
Absolutely. The biggest is O'Shea Brissett, a freshman from Ontario. He's number 11. Look out for him. He did really well last night, scoring in double figures. Also, another graduate transfer, Gino Thorpe. He's from the University of South Florida, had a couple of years there, now has one extra grad year student for eligibility. So he also coming off the bench right now. Maybe Jim Boeheim will change that up as the season goes on, but those two are some new faces to keep an eye out for sure.
He had some funky hair last night too.
For sure, he has a little ponytail up top.
Yeah, keeps it interesting.
Yeah.
Something else.
All that matters is if he scores.
And for this upcoming season, where do you see them at the end?
I want to be optimistic and say they make the NCAA tournament, but it's going to be tough because you have the very young team and a lot of new faces. I think it's going to be a learning experience. Play it as it goes, play it by ear kind of thing. I think they squeeze into the NCAA tournament, but it won't be easy. You're going to have each game by game, and I think they gel as the season goes on for sure.
And as we said, freshman year they didn't make it. Sophomore year they made it to the Final Four. Last year they didn't make it. We're seniors.
But when they made it to the Final Four, we weren't expecting it.
We weren't.
So you never know.
You never know.
You really never know with this team.
Thanks so much, Jake.
No problem.
Yep. Coming up, Zach Parnes will tell us more about No Shave November.
Stay with us.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent. We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness. I am a witness. I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. Those was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Come on, it's not that hard.
My big man fingers are having a problem with these little tiny buttons.
Whoa, watch it there. Your blood pressure's gonna go through the roof.
Tell me about it. I'm trying to learn how to get it down. Instead, it keeps going up.
High blood pressure can increase the risk for heart attack or stroke. Learn how to keep yours at a healthy range.
Ever hear a voice command? Just say text barbershop to 97779.
That's not what I said.
Just give me that. Now my blood pressure's up.
Welcome back to Juice and Java.
We're 2 weeks into November, so you may have started to see a little bit more facial hair while walking around campus.
Zach Parnes is here to tell us more about the cancer awareness campaign, No Shave November.
Thank you, guys. We are almost into the second week of November, and that means a few things. Turkey Day, pumpkin pie, and unshaven men. Forget November, this is Movember. It's a 30-day span when men grow out their beards to look like Yukon Cornelius and get into the gold mining spirit. But did you know that this fashion fad is actually for a great cause? That's right, people aren't doing this just to look their best, or in some cases their absolute worst for nothing. This movement is to raise awareness and donations for men's health issues, including prostate cancer, testicular cancer, and men's suicide. The Movember Foundation is the organization leading the cause, but there are plenty of other groups that encourage furry mustaches and beards aplenty. No Shave November and the American Cancer Society both have foundations in place, and they earn millions of dollars in donations annually. Now, all this talk is probably getting you wondering, how can I get involved? That is simple. Just put down the razor and start the conversation. You can also make a page on Movember.com and ask your friends and family to donate. Now, when you're growing out your hair, everyone will be sure to ask you, hey, Zach, why are you letting a small chinchilla grow around under your nose? And you can say, hey. First off, this, gorgeous, okay? Second off, it's for a really, really great cause. Ladies, this is something that I am so passionate about. I mean, Movember is so simple, yet such a powerful initiative.
And are people at Syracuse just as passionate about it? Are there any groups on campus that are participating?
Yeah, actually, Mia, so the funny thing is we're seeing a ton of involvement from students and, extracurricular activities. I mean, there's been several sports teams that have multiple athletes participating in this, and also 13 fraternities on campus have active pages right now.
That's so awesome, but I have to think, where did this get started?
So it's kind of funny, how does someone just decide, I'm going to grow my facial hair and, that'll be that? Well, it actually got started from a small group in Australia and New Zealand in 2004, and now they've spread it to 10 different countries across the globe. They're putting on 1,200 plus events a year. Really, really special organization right now.
Wait, so I used to hear No Shave November.
Yes.
But now it's officially Movember.
Movember, yes.
Okay, Movember.
There are some foundations like the No Shave November Foundation that want to keep that name there, but you are most often to hear that name Movember right now because they are one of the most popular organizations to do it. They're also a top 100 non-governmental organization in the United States right now.
And what's your favorite beard style these days? Have you seen any different ones, kind of cool ones?
Well, if I trim myself up, I actually can pull off a fantastic goatee. Now, whether or not a goatee is in style, that's for, the audience to determine. But can still do it if need be. I like that. I also like, people who can go the handlebar mustache route and leave that other side off.
Great. Well, Zach, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing your progress this month. That's all for Juice and Java this morning.
Check us out online at CitrusTV.com and follow Citrus TV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
I'm Mia Rossi.
And I'm Rebecca Thornburg.
See you next week, Syracuse.